have that she contacts, and he helps whatever projects that we have here. He's very
right
good.
There.
We did our thing, and then there should be a level of communication. You should be able to talk to people, be reasonable. We all should be able to help each other. Okay, so you're thinking from a Christian point of view, and you're thinking from a human point of view. So then she went over to say, okay, I don't understand what's going on here. Let's have a dialogue. And she couldn't get to whoever was in there. Now there were people in there, possibly his children. We saw one of his children, probably one of his sons, sprinting out of the house. We saw a flash or whatever, and we're dealing with children. Okay, so anyway, so she went ahead and decided, something is going on here. Let's just let the authorities deal with this. Called, it came out. They ended up making contact, possibly talking to that individual, that son or another son. I don't really know. 6 o'clock, yada, yada, yada. Just talked about having the survey and different paperwork for this property and its dimensions and everything. But like Miss Mary says, things are more linear. They're going to go in a straight line. Okay, we got what used to be the tree, the trunk, and the situation over there. We're very understanding about that. They actually exchanged at some point, once he didn't come at 6, he came at 1. Okay. Whether he was there, whether he was at work, whether he was flying a plane, I don't really know. But he came, and then they started to talk. They seemed to be vibing. Okay, they seemed to be making a connection. English is his second language. He relied upon his children. This is not uncommon. Who know English. They're more proficient at it. So they got in there. She talked. Met his kids and his pets, and I thought everything was okay. Exchanged phone numbers. They ended up letting her know by text, this is what we're going to do, and I felt very positive about that, and I think Miss Mary may have felt about that. So she went out and just was seeing how's everything progressing, and then that's when we hit some kind of wall here, in which he seemed something was going on with him. He seemed very agitated. He seemed very irritated, and he really didn't want to communicate with Miss Mary anymore. And that's when she started to talk to him, and it was she could feel the resistance and something going on there. So we're kind of in a headspace now. We don't know, is something else going to occur or happen. We don't understand why this is happening.
No.
With everything that's going on in the world. All right, enjoy the rest of your day, Miss Mary.
Well, I'm really not finished.
Okay.
I want to tell them, and the man, I don't know if he has his business in business of breeding cats, or he just have 100 cats. But I'm gonna break off here because I have to have some work done on my house, and then we can pick this up later.
That would be good.
Thank you, April.
All right, thank you. Alright, so we're back on. This is part 2 of Miss Mary Speaks. Alright, Miss Mary, so we're going to pick up where we left off in the first part. What would you like to talk about?
Well, I would like to talk about if I believe I can't swear to it, maybe he's just a cat lover, but he has numerous of cats. I didn't count them, but I seen quite a few of them. He seemed very concerned about their safety and well-being, but he took a part of my fence that would not affect his cats, and he left it open. This is not a good way to ingratiate yourself into the neighborhood. I don't hate the man. I don't dislike anything about him. As a matter of fact, I admire the way he came in. I can't remember since Ann left 20 years ago, anyone that over 20 years and that came in and did any work on the property. And it's a smaller house, but it's a beautiful piece of property, you know. And I believe that in my heart that he will keep it up. But you can't wish for something that someone else has and try and get some part off the other person. Regardless to who we are, we have to work together as a team. If something goes wrong, I can call on him. If he goes something wrong over there, he can call on me, which I told him. I said, if anything I can do to help you, let me know. But I cannot help anyone if they're telling me, I don't know. Maybe. Oh, that is not a form of communication. If you want to communicate, bring Chelsea back to interpret what I'm saying and give me an intelligent answer. So right now, I'm just going to let it be and bug Jehovah 24 hours a day to give me some kind of guidance and the understanding to understand what he is saying to me to do. Because my goal in life is not about materialistic things. It's about people. You can't replace people. You can always get a new car, a new fence. I'm not into that.
You mentioned briefly in part one about a fellow neighbor who they encountered something similar to what you're dealing with now.
And they both have the same name, but they're two different people. But she has been here in the neighborhood running the longest I have, because we both watch our kids grow up together, and we still here. She's thinking about retiring now too. That's very nice. I retired before she did. I took an early one. And when the Hispanic gentleman purchased Cheryl's
that's the property
home.
Next to
right. Next to her, Cheryl used to live there with Cheryl, Ann, and Virginia. Cheryl I wasn't as close to as the other two. And he told her the same thing this gentleman told me. He said that she was over too far on his property line. And she took his word for it and didn't get a surveyor to come out. And he started working it on the back, and he worked to the front. He stayed on the straight line on the front, but on the back he pushed the fence over so it took up hers, because he wanted to put some circular in the fence. And she said, now I've lost part of mine on the back. And I'm not too happy about it, because I had to lose my rose bushes and everything trying to help him. But he gave me this little space, and he got all this over here. So she was not too happy about it. So she was telling me just to stay on it and make sure it goes the proper way, because I hope that he gets a surveyor to come out. Because my neighbor just left fixing the pipe for me. He asked me a question which I had forgotten. He asked me, did Mr. Holmes call a surveyor? And I told him yes, he did. And the surveyor told him there was nothing wrong and he couldn't do nothing. And then he proceeded to break my fence, my chain link fence, and all this.
That was another surprise. We were going out there and then saw that it was damaged.
This was another thing. So the surveyor, I heard him when he told him, no, this one, that doesn't belong to you. And he argued with him, and the man finally got angry and left. So I wish this one get him a surveyor, and it's in the wait and see. But I don't have. If the surveyor tells me that I've lived here over 30 years and I'm over the line, I will oblige.
Maybe this is one of these things that happen in this society now when they question certain things. Maybe we'll be questioning